NetsBoys. Let's hear what he has to say. His name is NetsBoy. He thinks the world is all over when the Nets just can't play. What up, Net fans? NetsBoy is back here and bringing you the latest in your Brooklyn Nets news. Okay, so yesterday I posted my 150th episode, which was called NetsDog Takes Over, and it was just a lot of fun to do. But I kind of took a step back earlier today, and I said, you know what? This is the playoffs. And even though that was my 150th episode, I did something special. NetsDog kind of touched upon a few things. The truth is, I have to actually really put my own take on what has happened in Game 1 and Game 2 of the Nets versus 76ers. As you know, it just kind of happened that my 150th episode happened to fall the same time that the Nets are in the playoffs. And so I tried to do something fun, and I said, like I said, now I'm like, you know what? I need to actually talk about these games, me personally, because even though I did a little something with NetsDog, that was more of just a playful, fun little video, and this is more serious, hey, this is really what I see with this team. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do an episode right after, and I'm going to get it out and post it before Game 3, which is Thursday, which for most of you is later today, but, I'm going to try to get this video posted out Wednesday night, so hopefully you see it before the game on Thursday. So let's look at this series objectively. 1-1. Going into the series, I think every single Nets fan would have definitely taken a split in Philly. I know I would have. But once again, the Nets have the ability to always leave a bad taste in your mouth because Game 1 was amazing. I mean, Game 1, obviously the 76ers were not prepared for the Nets. The Nets came out. The guards were great. Dinwiddie, LeVert, and Russell all played well. Russell struggled at the beginning, but I will say this. What I love about D'Angelo Russell in Game 1, and really Game 2, but mostly Game 1, is that he didn't try to play outside his game, which has always been my knock on him. He always tried to do too much. He didn't. Even when he was struggling, he still stayed aggressive. He didn't become passive, but he didn't try to seek out his shots. He still played within the flow of the game. He knew his shots were going to start falling, and they did. And that's what I really, really liked about what I saw from Game 1 from D'Angelo Russell was he didn't panic. He didn't start hunting shots because they weren't falling. He didn't try to become too passive because they weren't falling. He said, you know what? I know I'm good. I know these shots are going to start falling. And he played within the offense, within the game. And that was really awesome and nice to see. And that's something that I've been harping on for him for the longest time. And I'm really glad to see that. LeVert, fantastic gameplay. Dinwiddie, solid gameplay. And how about that Jared Dudley doing all those little things? I'm not a big Jared Dudley fan. I've talked about how he's my least favorite player on the Nets. But you have to look at what he can do as a veteran. And he just does all the little things. And he is just a really valuable player to have. So, that being said, Game 1 was great. The Nets came out. They came out aggressive, shocked Philly, shocked the 76ers. The fans were booing, which was great. I mean, I was so thrilled. And overall, Nets win Game 1. And I'm thinking to myself, this is incredible. Like, this is an all-time high moment for a Nets fan. Over the last 10, 15 years, this is one of the best moments I've seen. Then Game 2 comes around. And we all knew the 76ers were going to come out aggressive. We all knew that they were super mad and upset about how they played in Game 1. So the 76ers come up, and they come out aggressive, and they take like a 10-point lead. But the Nets sustained it. They took the blow. And next thing you know, the Nets battle back, and it's a tie game, and the Nets are only down 1 at the half. And I still couldn't believe it. I'm just like, wow, the 76ers are literally throwing elbows, like I did there, throwing elbows and getting physical and trying to get back and make a statement, and the Nets are only down by 1, which that elbow, by the way, by Joel Embiid, I just want to go on the record of saying this. You can argue that was a flagrant 2. You really can. But and I'm saying this objectively, because obviously as a Nets fan, I'm like, that's a flagrant 2. Get him out of the game. Because even a hobbled Joel Embiid still caused tons of problems for the Nets. As an objective basketball fan, I said, you know what? I certainly do not want to decide this game by having somebody get ejected in the second quarter on a flagrant 2. Especially when it was borderline. Like, you could argue that he was clearing out, but you could also argue that he was just turning. And it was just, inadvertent, and it was just an accident. And yes, it was bad. It was a good elbow to Jared Allen's face, but I just, as a basketball fan, you don't want a game ever to be decided by something like that. Like, obviously, if he was a vicious elbow, you have no choice. But when it was questionable like that, I think the refs got it right. I think a flagrant one was absolutely the right call. The Kurucs flagrant one against Ben Simmons, to me, was very, very blah. Like, I could have gone without that. And I'm saying that also objectively, because I feel like that was more like the refs trying to, even out the score after the flagrant one was called on Embiid, because Kurucs was just going up for a rebound. Yeah, he gave him a little bit of a nudge, but not really. He was just trying to clear out. I get it. By the letter of the law, it's a flagrant one as well. But I think the refs got both those calls basically right. I'm a little bit more like Kurucs, really. I don't think so. But still, I think it was the right call. Of course, as a Nets fan, I thought Embiid should have been ejected. And heck, if I was a Nets fan, I feel like the Embiid should have been ejected and the 76ers should have automatically lost because of how violent it looked. But that's not how basketball works. But anyway... But so second half, Nets just started off down 1, and I'm like, all right, Nets, just come out and let's bring it, I guess that message went to the 76ers because holy crap, what a third quarter. 76ers tied a record for the most points in a third quarter, 51 points. The Nets are outscored by as many as I believe 28 points. Actually, I think they were down by 31 at one point in that third. It just, from the beginning, it was almost like the 76ers, just got this huge energy and huge burst and almost treated it like, hey, this is the beginning of a new game again. And the Nets, it's almost like the Nets just laid back. It's almost like the Nets were like, oh, we took their big punch in the first quarter, we came back, we're good now. And the 76ers are like, hey, we need to win this game. We cannot go down 0-2 here at home. It'll be a disaster. So they played like the desperate team, especially in that that third quarter. I think they kind of said, oh, wow, we got to even amp it up even more because we gave them a good blow and the Nets still hung in there. So let's give them a bigger blow. And the Nets were not ready for it. The Nets could not do anything in that third quarter. They couldn't make a shot. They certainly couldn't stop anybody. And everybody who had struggled before, Tobias Harris, J.J. Redick, Ben Simmons, they all played amazing in that third quarter. And ultimately, it was inevitable. Once the Nets were down by about 10-15 in that third, I said it's over. I was hoping the Nets would battle back and make it close, but I knew that the Nets were not going to be able to win game 2 once they were down by 10-15. And then once it became 25-30, I knew it was over. I'm going to be honest. I still watch just for the sake of trying to be a supportive fan, but I'm just watching it like this. Oh, God, just let this end. Just let this torture end. But either way, series is at the end of 2 games, 1 game apiece, going now to Brooklyn. So let's look now at the 3 major things, in my personal opinion, of what this series has been so far and what it's continued to be for the remainder of the series. 3 major points. Point number 1. Will the Nets ever be able to figure out how to stop any big man? A hobbled Joel Embiid is still scoring 20-something points a game, scoring at will in the post. Yes, he's not as dominant as he normally is, but he's still doing almost what he wants on the offensive end. Jared Allen and the rest of those guys, Ed Davis, they need to get tougher. And they're playing them aggressive. They just need to stop getting bullied. They need to start fronting more. Jared Allen needs to start fronting more. Okay, he did it towards the end of the third of game 2, and it kind of was working. It needs to happen more. I think Jared Allen thinks because he's a big, he shouldn't be fronting. No. Embiid is too big and strong compared to you. You have to front him. And I feel like with Jared Allen's length, that's the key moving forward. Front Joel Embiid. Don't let the ball get down in the post. Because let's be honest, it kind of worked well when the Nets went to that small lineup with Jared Dudley. Because Jared Dudley's really physical and he was fronting Embiid. He was trying to get his hands up. That was probably the best defensive set they had against him. So they have to continue to do that. And I need people like Jared Allen and even Ed Davis should front Embiid. I know that's an unfamiliar situation for those guys because they're normally play with their back to the basket defensively. But against this matchup, you have to front them. That's the first thing. And everyone's got to really help out. Second major point. Can the Nets guards continue to massively exploit the 76ers perimeter defense? They don't have just like how the Nets don't have really an answer for Joel Embiid too well, the 76ers really don't have an answer for LeVert, Dinwiddie, and Russell. They're getting their shots at will. They get the switches that they want, and they just really take advantage of the fact that the 76ers' lateral defense and perimeter defense is mediocre. especially when they get a switch and they have a hobble Joel Embiid trying to guard Spencer Dinwiddie. 9 out of 10 times Dinwiddie scoring in that situation. So this is stuff that the Nets will continue to exploit, and they have to continue to exploit it. Will the 76ers make an adjustment? I don't know. I kind of hope they do, because the adjustment would be that they would have to go small. That means no Boban, who also is having a great series for the 76ers, go figure. No Boban and no Embiid, and they'll have to go to maybe like Tobias Harris at the 5. This, to me, plays into the Nets' favor in the sense that now they don't have to worry about Embiid and the bigs dominating. But still, the 76ers have the talent to compete with the Nets. So, this is the chess match that's going on. And then finally, my third major point is simple. Can the Nets continue to play at this high level? Because except for the second half, for a full game and a half, the Nets have played at this high level, and they're getting production from players, from everyone. And can they sustain that? Can they come out in Brooklyn now, in the Barclays Center, with a ruckus crowd hopefully behind them, hopefully of at least 85% Nets fans, because 76ers fans are going to represent there because it's close. Can they come out and play the way they played in Game 1 and the first half of Game 2? I want them to forget completely about the second half of Game 2, almost pretend that never even happened. Can the Nets respond? Because that's what the way the series has been so far. It's been Nets shocked, Sixers responded. Then Sixers shocked, Nets responded, then Sixers really shocked. So what are the Nets going to do about it? So that's the third key, is can the Nets continue to play at this higher level? Can they get production from Jared Allen, Rodion Kurucs, Ed Davis stay out of foul trouble? Which, once again, I've talked about it before. Their lack of big man depth is once again rearing its ugly head. Ugly head. I still wish they had Greg Monroe. I still don't get it. Why did they let him go? I still don't get it. Sorry. Because just imagine if they had Greg Monroe right now. Imagine that. They could body him up, body him beat up, body Boban up. They could make such a huge difference in this series if the Nets kept Greg Monroe. You don't have to play him every day in the rotation. You're going to just play him against games where there's a big, like a big dominating big. Oh, sorry, off track. It still just frustrates me because I really think they could have helped. But so those are the 3 points. Can the Nets deal with Embiid and Boban and the interior play of the 76ers? Can the Nets continue to take advantage of the 76ers perimeter play? And once again, can the Nets respond and play at the same type of energy and level that they played in Game 1? If the Nets can do all 3 of those things, slow down the perimeter game, slow down the post game with Embiid and Boban, though Boban's more of just, they're kind of letting him shoot that mid-range shot, which he's making. Take advantage of the perimeter game continuously and play at the same high level, I think the Nets could really cause problems for the 76ers, and it could go 6-7 games. I still believe the 76ers are winning the series. I really do. I'm being objective. I think that it's not out of the question to expect this to go 6. I do think the Nets can win one game here in Brooklyn and make it a 6-game series. I think NetsDog touched upon that. I'm just echoing what he's saying. I really don't want it to go 5 games. Like I really don't want the Nets to lose in 5. I think that's a huge... It's weird because it's not really a sweep, but in my head it is. Because you won Game 1, and then if the Nets lose in 5, it means you lost 4 in a row. So it's not really a sweep, but in my head it is. I don't want that. I will, it's funny because I said anything that's not a sweep for the Net would be a success going into the series. Well, after they won Game 1, I've changed my narrative. I just wanted to go 6. Because after they won Game 1, if it goes only 5 and it's a 76ers win, then the Nets lost 4 in a row. And I do not want that. And I would be upset about that. I really would. And I know that, if you go to the beginning of the year and the fact that the Nets even made the playoffs is a win in itself, to me, expectations have changed as this team continues to develop. And expectations have changed again after they won Game 1. After the Nets won Game 1, to me, the expectations is now this should still be a 6-game series minimum. Okay? So that's up for debate, but that's my personal opinion. So let's see what happens moving forward. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys really did enjoy that NetsDog video. Just keep in mind that that's a really playful video, and literally it's my dog, and I'm literally talking behind him, which is why sometimes the audio is a little off. really, I should probably do some voiceovers, which probably maybe the next time I do a NetsDog video or something involving NetsDog, I might do a voiceover afterwards so it doesn't sound as muffled like this. And also the voice is a little shrill, but I need to change my voice somehow. So anyway, thank you guys for dealing with the NetsDog video. I hope hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have not seen that video, go ahead and look at it. It's only like 6 minutes long. It's probably one of my shortest videos. Just really playful fun. It's all about NetsDog. And, you know, so if you haven't had a chance to see it, I did that for my 150th episode. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. See what the Nets can do moving forward. And my next NetsBoy episode would probably be after Game 4. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully the Nets are not worse than 2-2. And, you know, hopefully it's not worse than 2 games apiece by then. And maybe it'd be even better. Maybe it'll be 3-1. Nets. That would be awesome. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Comment below. And, yeah, this is NetsBoy signing off.